Coming up on today's episode, Starship goes boom, Cybertruck also goes boom, and other stainless steel things. Let's get ludicrous. Hey there, and welcome to Our Ludicrous Future. This is the podcast where we talk about all the cool future things that are happening right now that's going to make tomorrow
totally ludicrous.
Nice. Yeah. See, it works better when we're together.
Wow. Yay.
Well, I'm Joe Scott with the Answers With a YouTube channel, and I am with my friends.
Hi.
These two jabronis.
Hello.
Sorry, I got to get close to my
I'm Tim Dodd, the Everyday Astronaut from Stuff on the Internet, and this is...
I am also from the internet, and my name is Ben Solins. Hi, guys.
We're internet, but we're real.
Yeah. Yes. Sometimes we're digital, sometimes we're in person. And this is a special episode with a special day.
Yeah. Wow. What a week.
Well, today's the hangover day, I think. But
yeah.
So I think our future just got a little more ludicrous. I think we can officially.
Yeah, officially.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's happening. Where do you guys
just get right to it?
Do you want to start with Starship? Okay, let's go with the Cybertruck.
We gotta just jump into this.
Yeah, okay.
We were all
Everybody's
there.
gonna be scooching forward anyway if we don't.
We were all there last night.
So last night we all attended the Tesla Cybertruck unveiling with the one and only Elon Musk and many other folks. And wow is about all I can. Really, I don't know how. I made a video on it somehow, but I couldn't even put it into words. I think it was just, this is insane.
Those are some of the words, yeah.
Yeah. Let's just, before we get into all of our reactions, let's just refresh people's memories. This is a fully electric, can we call it a pickup truck? They call it a pickup truck. It looks nothing like a pickup truck. But let's look at the stats. Scroll down there, Tim, and we can see there's 3 variants. The single range or single motor, rear wheel drive, 0 to 60, 6.5 seconds, 250 miles of range. What is it towing? I can't see. 7,500 pounds towing, which is great. That's like more than a top spec Toyota Tacoma. Right. So their low end model is very capable. There's the dual motor all wheel drive. If you click on that one, and this one goes 0 to 60 in 4.5, or it says under 4.5, because these things don't actually exist. These aren't real numbers yet. These are like what they're estimating or targeting. Range of 300 or more miles, dual motor all-wheel drive, as I mentioned. And this one has, 10,000 pounds towing. And then the tri-motor design, this being the, I guess, second official Tesla with a tri-motor design, because the Roadster and then the Model S Plaid powertrain.
The third one.
Yeah,
Roadster,
but this is the only one you can... Well, I guess you could order the Roadster, and you can order this. The Plaid one isn't really unveiled yet.
But
it was just tweets.
We just know, that it's coming as a,
Now, this one is 0 to 60 in under 2.9 seconds for a massive, super heavy truck that has 500 plus miles of range and can tow 14,000 pounds. That's like a very big, heavy-duty Ford F-250 or something. It's insane. Spec wise. And I just want one other number, and then let's just go into all the thoughts. The other number is price. So if you click order now on the page, you can see it'll take you to the ordering section. The single motor rear wheel drive, $39,900. Does that make this the cheapest? And that's before incentives, because there's no incentives anymore, really. Does that make this the cheapest car they make? Because what is the base Model 3? Is it Ford?
Well, is the 35 still kind of off the menu?
It's gone.
Kind of thing?
That's gone.
Completely. Like,
yeah,
you can't even special.
No, you can't order that anymore.
I think it's about that price.
It's either the cheapest or the very close.
I think it's $400 more or something. I think it's $39,500.
Okay, yeah, but it's right there.
Yeah.
Really cheap. And then dual motor all-wheel drive is 10 grand more, 49,900, and the highest end one is $69,900. For a point of reference, a truck that can do as much as this could do at its highest end is going to be $80,000+ from Ford or Dodge or these guys. They're these big, massive, high-end, super heavy trucks are really expensive. So these are the 2 brightest points I would say about the thing. Yeah, let's talk about the design. What do you guys... Wow.
What was in your head when it rolled up on stage? Like what, or out of your mouth? What were the words?
Well, the words that were in my head, and I actually heard other people around me saying was, "Is that really it? Is this like the joke?" And we're gonna get well, not even troll, but just kind of like fake out or something,
Right.
you know? It's like,
Psych.
here's the real thing.
Yeah.
Like
Gotcha.
the veneer was going to fall off and the real thing would be underneath it or something.
Right.
And after a while, it just kind of like kept sinking in. It's like, oh, that's
He's
really-
serious.
That's it. Yeah. Okay.
Now, the oddest thing to me was just forget the shape itself is crazy, but also the material, because we heard that this is basically made out of what Starship is made out of.
Okay, what is it? 30 times cold rolled.
Ultra
Cold.
hard steel.
Can't say it right.
Basically 301 stainless or 310. Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
It's nuts.
yeah.
Would
Like a
it survive
DeLorean.
re-entry?
It survived a good chunk of re-entry, yeah. But my thought, I just kept in my head saying the F word, like what the,
Yeah.
whiskey tango foxtrot, like
Yeah,
over
right.
and over.
WTF, WTF.
And
Yep.
and kind of laughing giddy because especially in like, I mean, the pictures do it justice of that what,
Yeah.
just what,
Right.
and in real life it has even this more what factor. And my overall thing, my summary is these specs would have sold itself. It could have been it could have been a Ford F-150.
Yep.
With these specs,
Clone.
it would be the number one selling vehicle
Right.
when it comes out. And then this, I think, polarized it to the point where, like, now it's a thing. Like, now we just made it. This is like, what's a thing that Apple did that was so brave, or, something like that, that was just so polarizing that it was like, why? Why didn't you just
Touch
make it
bar.
normal?
Oh, wait, no, that sucks.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, no, that's what I'm like. Or like,
And now they're rolling it back. The 16-inch doesn't have it, right?
It has. Well, it still has it, but it's just segregated now from the escape key and the power key.
I don't think
Oh,
you can
right.
compare the touch bar to this.
No.
No. But I'm saying it was like a move where people are like, what?
Well,
and then you're
okay,
like,
here we go.
oh.
The first MacBook Air, when that came out, and people were like, you got rid of the optical drive? It only has 2 USB ports?
Getting rid of the headphone jack.
Headphone jack.
That was pretty.
Is that gone on laptops?
Well, no,
Well,
but
on-
for
on
phones.
iPhones.
On
Remember how
phones.
big of a
Oh,
deal
got
that
ya.
was?
Yeah.
And everyone's just like, why? I
Yeah.
mean, this is that times
So
50.
someone mentioned to me though that an interesting thing was almost like when the Hummer first came out, how people were like, "Was that you, Joe?" It was
No,
like,
but I've heard a lot of people
It was a
compare it to
very
Hummer.
big like, what the big recoil of like, what is this crazy design? And then a year later, you saw him on the streets, and people, it was so crazy that it was so eye catching. That there definitely is a buyer for people, that seek attention to make money, like all of us online. But point being, like there is a market for this. I love that for $39,900. Quinn from Snazzy Q said this. I thought it was great. He's like, how awesome is that? For 40 grand, I can buy the craziest futuristic truck I ever dreamed of as a child, and here it is, and it's like,
It's true.
for real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the thing. If they took this and they took a Ford F-150 and they let Photoshop do like the blending tool together or something and just take all the aspects, take all of the things, even keep the crazy lines,
The sharp lines.
but just give me a little bit of like a roof line or like 2 more kinks in the body so it's not just a pyramid.
Well, do you have a photo of that? Because I think that.
Well, we'll get to that.
Okay.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
sure. Let's actually just jump to that. Well, I had a why don't they just,
Oh, okay.
which is this.
Right. So someone did a mock-up of it where it basically cuts off. So I'm sure you guys have all seen it by now if you're listening to this. But the deal is that it doesn't have a bed really. Like there is a bed back there, but there are sidewalls that cover it entirely. So it just looks like you don't have the typical end of the cab.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. And so someone did that on this Photoshop, and it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
For me, it's where the point is. The point on the windows and stuff. If that went up to the closer to the front, and it actually had a steeper rake of that windshield, and this just went like this a little bit more, and I'm gonna Photoshop that later. Mark my words.
Yeah.
I think that's what's so off-putting about it. Actually, is like just
Yeah.
this one line front, one line down. Like, give me
Right.
Let me just give me a little one.
It's
notch
so
more
wildly
normalcy.
different than what we're used to seeing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't look like a truck. 1% of it. It doesn't look like a truck.
No.
Well, and from the side, you can't even tell it has a bed. And I
Right.
guess it has a covered bed that will roll up.
It's pretty
right?
cool, yeah. Yeah, and in fact, the guy when he,
No, yeah.
there's a photo of it, yeah, the guy when he rode the ATV into it, which they also made,
Yeah.
Okay.
Sort of the other thing, but
Yeah.
Yeah, and it has a charging port for the ATV.
Yeah.
When they said it's charging, I thought he meant that it was wirelessly charging.
No,
like
I saw
he just
he
drove
plugged
it in there
I
and
saw
like
him plug
dink.
it in.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought there was just like a dock or something that he just like.
That'd be sick.
That's what I thought it was.
That would be
right.
way too specific.
Something you can't see in these pictures either is the lights along the bed.
Right.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
You're on the inside of it.
But again,
yeah.
like from where we were
Strip light.
standing, you couldn't see it.
So, and I didn't even use any of the footage in my video, but I rode in it and I sat in the back, and I was really shocked at how big the thing was. First off, like when Elon was up there on stage, I feel like there was a bit of an optical illusion where it looked like Model X size.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, this thing is massive.
It's
This thing is really, really big. And inside of it, yeah, can you pause on the shot here,
I
the
can't,
interior?
I'll
yeah, for
try.
some reason it doesn't leave.
auto.
You can right click maybe, or
I don't know.
yeah. Anyways, yeah, just say
Well, no.
Okay, so the interior, I was really impressed with how big it was. Like three full size men fit in the back of it.
You didn't get a ride, did you?
I didn't.
Yeah. Okay. So Ben's the only one who actually got to be
Yeah.
inside of it.
Yeah.
And there are 3 seats in the front. So there's 2, the main seats, and then the center console flips up to be a
Yeah.
third, which is kind of a common,
Yeah,
I
truck
understand
thing.
a way to do that. So all of that, like I was really impressed with the interior, except for 2 elements. The marble. Why is this marble? I saw a really funny tweet. Someone's like, yeah, I just had a fun day until I bashed my head on the kitchen counter in my car. Whoops.
I'm imagining that the rock is supposed to make it feel like it's stronger, like it's supposed to reflect strength or something. I'm stretching here. I'm just trying to find.
Look
a
at
reason for
you
it.
with your...
Well, you know.
Yeah, so, and then the steering wheel, you gave it the Roadster race car steering wheel. Why? Why is that? I mean, if I'm, in my, if I'm coming home from the job site in Texas, road, I need to put my hand on top of the wheel. I can't have it this like race car thing. What is this?
You can't wave at all the people driving by.
That's right. Yeah,
You can't do the
there's a
farmer
thing.
wave.
There's like a truck thing I need.
Yeah.
So those are my only 2 complaints about the interior. Otherwise, it was huge, which was unexpected. The glass panels on both of the angles are full glass.
Yeah.
With one crossbar where the kink in it is.
Yeah.
But it was pretty minimal, and it just felt amazing
There's
inside
like a
of
light
there.
bar on the inside.
Yeah, there is that. I like that. I mean, that's cool.
That's nice. Yeah, I gotta say.
There was some. It was really cool on the like. There are so many great things here. I just don't know if people are gonna buy this, man.
Well, while we're talking about the interior, because I didn't get to go in there, I had some questions. I saw some of the videos that some people posted on YouTube. Did the rearview mirror, was it an actual mirror or was it a display?
It was a camera.
It was a camera.
Yeah. So
And did it have side mirror cameras as well?
I believe so.
There's no mirrors
Right, there's
on
no
it.
side mirrors, right?
Yeah, I believe so, but we didn't see that in there. There is a shot on the side pillar, the A pillar as it is, where it looked like there would be a display. They weren't on when I was in there.
Okay.
But the rear view mirror was definitely one. Now, one question that was interesting, I thought I didn't get an answer to, was whether or not it would have a forward-facing camera, which when I first saw the Rivian and I did a thing on that, I kind of made fun of it, like, this is goofy, why would you want this? And then I drove the Porsche Taycan, and as I was pulling up to someone,
Oh, right.
it popped up. It was like beep, 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 beep,
Yeah.
beep, and it had a front-facing camera super duper low. And I was like, this is brilliant, especially in like a car like that, which is low to the ground, so you're going to hit curbs and stuff. So it was like, that's actually, and so I could imagine in a truck off-roading, it would be really advantageous to be able to see what's in front of you down below.
Yeah.
Although, as strong as this thing is, you can probably just hit anything and it wouldn't matter.
Well, and I feel like those low cameras are just going to get mucked up right away.
Well, depending on what you do with it.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
A little windshield wiper.
yeah. And that's actually, I do want to know, like, the winters in Iowa with the salt on the roads, all my cameras will get covered up in a 32 mile
But
kilometer
speaking
drive.
of the salt on the road, it won't rust.
This would not rust. That's great. But like, what's Tesla gonna do? This is a totally different topic. But what are they gonna do about like lens obfuscation? Like when a lens is, has low clarity and stuff. Like, why don't they don't
When
have
it's
like
an actual rear view mirror, that's pretty important.
and
right?
self-driving? How's
Well,
the car gonna
already
drive
that's
itself?
Already that's a problem, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
the
that's
other
what I'm
day
saying,
I was
yeah.
trying to back out of my driveway and it had rained coming up here, yesterday? And it was like just boom, just blurry. You can't see
Yep.
anything. And I'm like, dang.
What's a self-driving car gonna do in that case without a little whoop beep beep wiper? Is that an aftermarket thing they have to come in and install on all these cars that have self-driving?
How
Like
cheesy would that be? That would be hilarious.
It might
I
need
could
it.
imagine. Okay, so one thing that this had that was cool was it has an air compressor.
Yeah.
So it has its own air suspension and adaptive leveling. So if you saw the demo where the guy drove the ATV into it, it auto leveled, which was cool.
That's really cool, actually.
Yeah, and so it can so it has an air compressor as well because it has the air suspension. So yeah, maybe it could just have like a little air jet, just like shoot air over the camera lens to like wipe it off. That would probably be effective. I
That
don't
would
know.
help at least.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna lay it out there, like, and we were talking about it last night, but the entire night I was like, this is the biggest disaster. I just thought it was the ugliest thing. I'm just like, nobody's gonna buy this.
Is it growing on you yet?
It's well, actually, I woke up this morning and I was like, starting to get there. I've been like that in the past. When I first saw the Model 3, even though I knew I was going to get it anyway, but I didn't like that center console thing. I thought it looked kind of tacked on. The front looked kind of weird to me. But it grew on me over time. Now I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
And now every other car,
Yeah.
electric or otherwise, but especially electric cars, are doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Like they set that trend. I'm not saying this is going to set a trend necessarily, but I think they have a way of like pushing the design boundaries, and then people kind of get there over time.
Uh-huh.
And I think this will.
Yeah.
I think this will iterate. I think this will get a little bit more.
Honestly, I think if now I know we're not seeing the shots here, but in those kind of like wings, I guess, that are covering the edges of the bed,
Yeah.
there's like tool stuff,
Yeah,
right?
well,
There's like capacity.
Okay. That's what
We
we
didn't
didn't talk
talk
about.
about that.
They
Let's
didn't
talk about the presentation.
The presentation was
Regardless of what you think of the truck, the presentation did not go well.
Right.
At all.
You can
Right.
tell Elon got very fluttered.
Okay. I didn't know that he cussed when Franz. Okay, so rewind. If you guys didn't see this, I'm sure you have by now. Every meme and
God.
all over the internet, they have a. So I could hear Zach jerry rig everything in my head as this happened. So they had this big demo where the guys were dropping these steel balls on glass to show, because they had this. They called it transparent metal. That's how strong it was.
Yeah.
And I was standing there with one of the guys that worked on the truck, and he's like, yeah, we've been like banging that thing. We can't get it to break. And then Franz comes up, throws a little ball at it, smash. And Elon is like, oh my effing God.
Yeah.
I didn't catch that until
Yeah.
later when I was doing the B-roll for the clip.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
And then Franz is like, well, should we do the other one?
Let's double down on that.
And Elon is like, I don't know, should we? He was definitely like, and then he threw it and it broke the second one. Oh my God.
And he just lobbed.
He didn't even, yeah.
Okay,
Like-
well, did you hear? Should we say his name?
Who?
Are we going to get him in trouble?
Yeah, don't say names.
Let's not.
Okay, I don't want to get
mention any
anybody in
names.
trouble, but,
Yeah.
but he did say that there was normal glass on the back window.
Oh, right.
Like, I guess Franz didn't know that.
Which is weird that he wouldn't know.
And I guess maybe Elon didn't know it either because he let him do it. But
Well,
apparently it
Elon was
just normal
definitely
glass.
like, I think we've done enough damage, Franz.
Yeah.
Maybe we should not press our luck. Like,
Right.
what's next? Try the front one?
Well, they were going to do a chainsaw, remember? He
Yes.
said they were going to get a
So,
chainsaw out and try to cut
This is how we kind of have a sense that the presentation
Yeah.
ended quicker, because there apparently was a lot more stuff that was supposed to happen to the truck. Like a torch maybe, or just crazy stuff. They were going to try to basically destroy this thing every which way they could and show that it just left it without a scratch. And that would have been like, holy cow, that makes sense why this thing is so futuristic. This is so wild. It didn't go that way. It was, if anyone listening is old enough to remember the unveiling of Windows 95, where Bill Gates, with plug and play technology, where it just automatically would install the drivers. It would just figure it out for you. It plugs in a printer, Windows 95, boop, blue screen of death. But of course, fast forward, and you don't even remember that because Windows 95 was, made them $100 billion or something in the first year. It's insane. So I don't was this that moment? And 5 years from now, we'll be laughing about that. It definitely didn't go as planned. Is objectively,
Although I did hear that Franz got hired by the Yankees as a pitcher.
Yes.
The thing is, okay, I wanted more I know that they got frazzled. Like clearly,
Oh,
Elon standing in front of 2 broken windows on this.
It had to keep going.
It's all you can look at.
It's all you, and every camera is him right with like broken glass behind him. I could tell he was so frazzled, and I know that there's so much more. You know, those cubbies.
Yeah, there was
so
a
many
lot of
tech
info we
specs.
didn't get.
A lot of info we didn't get. Like I want to redo.
They never even talked about that front light bar, which was like the element that
Right.
like they had teased everything on.
We don't know if there's a frunk.
There is.
I heard there's
They didn't show.
So-
But they didn't show it. You're right.
anything.
Yeah, so maybe we'll take a break here in a second, but we could bring up the press kit and actually look, because there's a lot more photos and stuff. So we can kind of, in fact, why don't we just do that now? We'll take a quick break and then come back and continue on with more detailed photos.
All right, where were we?
Yeah. So let's see. Yeah, what were we talking about? Cybertruck.
Well, the frunk came up. And we were looking for a photo,
So we couldn't find a photo of the frunk. I've seen one somewhere, but there definitely is one. And there are some other angles here and some stuff that I think is good to pull up and just look at. Maybe, Tim, do you have that video of it driving with the light bar thing? Because that was pretty interesting just to show how that kind of... Yeah, so you can see here that it has... it's funny. The more I see different angles of it, the more I'm like, okay.
The footage of it looks a lot better than in
Real life.
like.
I think the not being painted thing gets me.
I love it. I love that.
That doesn't bother me.
Really?
No.
I just imagine my kids touching it and having fingerprints everywhere because it's stainless steel. And this is like, I don't understand why
But
stainless
matte
steel
stainless
appliances.
steel,
Yeah. Is it?
Yeah, it's pretty matte. It's not reflective. It's not shiny.
I'm
So-
going to wrap it in a shiny
okay.
chrome.
Here's the deal. The front is great. It's coming straight at you. That will turn heads and be awesome.
Yeah.
But it's like this Pontiac Aztec,
In the back.
like this.
Yeah.
That's the thing that just kills me. Like, right, oh, Dexter. Like, it just looks like, I don't, I don't know. Just, you know what I mean? Just looks,
They need to cut the back
like
off of it. So let's get to that. Why don't they just? I mean, because that's basically what you're... did someone... That looks so much better.
Okay.
That looks fantastic.
Yeah. My brain sees that and is like, yes, that's a pickup. But
Yes.
also, if they have that covered thing,
It wouldn't work.
It wouldn't be covered.
well, you could
would it?
Fine.
You could still do
Unless
it.
It
there
could
was a thing
come
that
from...
They
It could
could
not
just-
be above. It
Yeah,
could
it
just
could
be
just
flat.
be flat.
Like
you could still
how
have the
they
cover thing
currently
just
are.
roll out.
You know, a big part...
Well, yeah. Well, it would be less covered space because
Yeah.
vertical.
But still, a big part of trucks are all the expensive, crazy accessories like toolboxes and stuff like that are made to fit. So
Yeah.
I think truck people are used to spending money on those things, right?
But I think that's also part of the idea with the rails going diagonal is there are built-ins already, expensive built-ins, like where you put all your tools. I know you're saying like, but people have you won't need the thing anymore.
I've been using this toolbox for 30 years. Don't
you
take my
won't-
toolbox.
But you won't need it. Like this will be that. I get that where it's basically it has a built-in tool rail along the side, which is pretty cool. But
Yeah.
make that an option. Like
Right. I think yeah. And it'd be funny. Would it be cheaper then? I mean, how cheap is this steel?
Jeep,
Yeah, right. So it's
Compared-
probably
I mean-
not a big deal to have that extra bit of it there.
right?
That's why they went with it with Starship.
Okay, and so I don't know if we have much to talk about there, but what they've done is they've made the body the chassis with this design.
The exoskeleton.
Right.
Yeah.
And I believe this is something that happens on really high-end cars,
Yeah.
like Ferraris
A
and things.
monocoque, yeah,
Yeah, monoblock,
monocoque,
monocoque. Mm-hmm. Okay.
like a monocockpit.
And
Settle down, boys.
This
okay,
word that I'm hearing.
we are children. So that opens up some possibilities. It's kind of a cool technical feat, something you don't really see. It has been done, but it's uncommon. But I wonder if maybe that forced the design to be a certain way, or it's like it seems a little bit much, honestly.
Well, I mean, pretty basic physics. It coming to a point like that probably does aid a lot in rigidity, especially like front to back rigidity.
Right.
Having it come to a point like that is probably unbelievably strong.
Yeah.
Like that's probably great, but like do I really care about chassis rigidity that much over, I'll take a 7% decrease in chassis rigidity if it just looked a little better.
One of the things that I was trying to, play devil's advocate against that part of my brain last night that was like, no, was that Elon is a first principles kind of guy. Like he's very much like,
why is there a
function
chassis?
over form? Like why does it have to be like this? It could be like this. There's a reason. I think that's what I was wanting and waiting for when I first saw it. Was like, explain this.
Yeah.
There's got to be a really good explanation for this, and he probably, because he ran off the stage after the glass broke, you never really got that.
Yeah.
And that was a frustration of mine.
I would have, I think that's almost what makes it so heartbreaking for me, is that the presentation went so poorly. I didn't get a chance to actually like fall in love with it or care about it really.
Yeah, it was more like, oh my God, what just happened?
Mm-hmm.
We're all sitting there. I remember asking the guy we knew there, or that had worked on it, like, was that supposed to happen? Was that like, is there something else like that? That
like,
really
just kidding, that was the normal glass. Now here's the unbreakable one.
Right. Like,
We just want to show you how the glass breaks. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was kind of like, I can't say anything.
Yeah, he was like, I just can't say anything about it.
Yeah.
I can't any of this. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So the other thing about this, look, I already know many people who have already ordered this. In fact, I'm sure some people who are listening to this have already ordered this or pre-ordered it or whatever this thing is, because it's only $100, which is kind of mind-blowing.
Right.
Period.
People people did it just to have it in their account.
Sure. Yeah.
So they could see it there, and then they'll refund it later.
Sure. But so I mean, the hardcore fanboys, of course, are gonna want one just to say they have one. The big question is this going to disrupt the market or anything? Is this something that truck people are going to be buying or construction people are going to be buying? Or is this just a toy? Mm-hmm. And is it okay for it to just be a toy? Maybe that's okay. Because another thing to think about is by the time this comes out, Rivian will have their truck out. Ford will have their electric F-150.
Likely.
Well, I don't know if it'll be out, but it'll be
less paper.
So I don't have an official date, but my hunch after talking with people at Ford is that we'll see that next year sometime, officially unveiled. And I think the door is wide open.
Yeah.
I don't think this poses any threat to the electric F-150.
No.
I think zero of the electric F-150 people are going to be like, oh yeah, bailing on this car that I and my family have had for generations going to this. Yeah. I think it's wild. I would love one just to go goof off in the desert with and make videos with.
Right.
And it actually would be, I would probably enjoy it as a daily driver, but I'm not a truck guy.
Here we go.
I wouldn't, you know what I mean? I'm not someone that actually needs this. So it would be a toy car.
Here's
for
what
me.
this is.
Right.
Yeah.
They made a truck for non-truck people.
Okay.
When they should have made a truck for truck people.
Right.
Well,
okay, so there you go. So
that's the argument.
When I talk about, is this going to disrupt anything? Is it going to get truck people to buy it? No, I don't think it is. What are the odds that this does actually kind of change things in the truck world?
0%.
I think it'll change.
You're putting it at 0.
Yeah.
I think it'll change things. I think it'll set a new tone, but not. Here's what I wanted, and this is what I wanted. I wanted this to be my friends that own trucks. I wanted them to just go, I have to get it because it economically makes sense. It's way more awesome. It does X, Y, and Z, and it drives itself.
14,000 pounds towing, 500-mile range,
all
to
all the things
insane.
that we like about cars.
Yeah.
There's people that are just truck people that want a truck, will own a truck. And the rereason I own a Model 3 is because at that price, there was no other car that could do all the things it does.
Right. It's just the best one there is.
Just the best one there is.
Yep.
And now I'm obsessed with it.
And actually, that's the only saving grace here, I think, is that for the dollars, this is the best truck you can buy.
But then
But the design is just, people aren't going to do it.
I think...
Which you made a good point in your video. It's like, who would have thought that the price would be the biggest selling
That's the
point
winner here. How
For a
is
Tesla.
that the winner?
For a
Of
Tesla.
all of the things, and usually design, Franz and his team are, second to none.
Right.
This...
Okay, can I also say one thing? Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. But this goes completely against all of Tesla's design language.
Right.
Yeah.
This is not a Tesla
Right.
in design principle thinking.
At all.
This was Elon.
This is a Countach. This is a Lamborghini Countach with 2 doors and jacked up. Look at it. I mean,
Well, actually,
literally, I'm gonna start modding it to look like a Lamborghini Countach. That's what
Fair
I'm gonna
enough.
do. I mean,
It's a much slower run.
wait, way faster than a Countach.
Is it?
Way faster. Countach is
Faster or quicker?
quicker. Yeah,
Maybe.
Countach had like a top speed of like 185
Yeah.
miles an hour.
Probably faster.
Sorry, 300 kilometers an hour. But at 0 to 60 was like abysmal, like 5 seconds. You know.
Right. And so, can we just talk about this one bit? Because I didn't get to talk about it in the video, and I'll send it to Ben to put on the screen. So, a lot of people talk about trucks being the most popular vehicles sold in the United States, which is not actually true. The top 3 individual vehicles sold or models are trucks, but overall they are not. And so it's a weird thing. So now even the number 1 overall, the way this is classified, and I didn't make up these classifications. People give me a hard time, like, you changed this. No, this is like how it's reported.
Yeah.
The Ford F series. So in the F series, there are
there's like several different models.
right. There's the
250, 350.
If you just look at the F-150, there's probably 7 variants of it, and 100 ways you can customize each one of them.
Yeah.
So it's insane to the variability or the distribution. Then there's the 250, the 350, the super heavy, the dually, the blah 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 blah. These things, the F series is like saying like Tesla sedan,
Right.
You know, you're like 4-door Tesla, okay, like it's all of them.
Yeah. Chevy car.
Right. And then Chevy Silverado is compared to that. And so the Ford F series sells like over 900,000 per year, or last year they sold over 900,000. But again, that's a wide variety of vehicles. It's not all the same thing. The next one is Chevy Silverado, and the Chevy Silverado is basically one thing. Like to my knowledge, there aren't 5 different levels of, I'm sure there are
There's
different trims,
but
there's not like a Silverado
Plus.
because then it goes into actually a different model. And there's also the GMC something or other, which is the same as the Silverado,
Right.
basically. So anyways, these numbers are kind of weird, right? But people look at this and say, oh, trucks are the most popular one in the United States. That's not actually true, because
As a segment.
Because when you look at by segment, crossover SUVs last year accounted for 39.4% of all U.S. auto sales.
Dang.
39. That's a huge.
Yeah.
That is a and this
It's almost half.
yeah, and crossovers didn't really even exist, that long ago, right? Like I don't remember what the first, like a Toyota RAV4 or something. Like what was the first like small
That's
SUV?
I think it was CRV, but
Okay, right.
Is that
Yeah.
even right?
Similar, right? So this is like late 90s when those came out. Like it's not something like.
Yeah.
If you think about like the sedan, well, that's been around forever. That was like
Right.
the car. That's what it was basically. So the fact that that's sort of a new-ish segment, and it is like getting close to 50%.
And it's
so
literally twice what the pickup
pickups
is.
are 17% of the overall market. So and then small car is 12.2%, which your Model 3 does not fall into that category
Right.
because this is EPA classifications based on storage size, et cetera, et cetera. So SUVs are actually 8%, midsize car 10%. So crossovers are the largest segment, like by a long shot. Pickup trucks are big. And so to your question, is this going to change that at all? I don't imagine it at all. I think people are going to buy it. It's going to be fun. But like if you think about what the Model S did for the sedan, car driver, car of the year over the past 70 years, best car, most game-changing car ever made.
Yeah.
That is something that changes the whole world, where everyone else is trying to compete with it in whatever. This truck is not going to do that because it's not going to sell like the Model S did.
And I remember when the Model S first came out and people saw those screens and they were like, that's insane.
Right.
Nobody's
But
ever
the
gonna want
design
that.
was like, that's beautiful, right?
Well, the design,
yeah. Like you looked at it and you're like, that's a gorgeous car.
It was universally just, no one said that it was a hideous car. Like, when it came
You
out,
can nitpick things here and there, but yeah.
The X though was considered, it was pretty polarizing, honestly.
It still is. It's not a great looking car. I had to put...
Well, especially the front. Do you remember the unveiling front fascia had like fangs? It had kind of like an old Model S grill, but like only half of it.
Oh, awesome. That's kind of cool.
It was actually quite ugly.
I mean, that sounds cool.
We'll just do this Model X unveil. It was...
It feels like so long ago.
Yeah. Whoa.
2016?
Look at the original. Look at the
Oh,
fang.
whoa.
The fang front. Look at this. It's like a weird beluga whale thing. Why is Google doing this, by the way, now where like it's over on the side?
Yeah.
Like, don't do that to me.
Design. Oh, that is. It kind of looks like another car, like a little.
That's funny.
And I mean, that's ugly.
I don't remember that. Yeah, I do not remember that.
And
And the lights were so different.
the lights were
whole thing
tiny
was
and
different,
slitty,
yeah.
and hopefully there's this is saying because this is what's supposed to come out 2021 at the earliest, 2022 for later delivery or whatever. Like, there's still a couple years to make some tweaks that normalize it a little bit.
Right. Yeah. Like cutting off that triangle back.
Yeah.
Like that Twitter whatever image you showed of someone basically giving it an actual bed. I mean, it still looks wild and futuristic in what Elon was, I think, was going for.
Right.
It's just really funny how.
But it looks infinitely better.
How much of a difference that one little panel being removed
One little
makes.
slit makes.
Yeah. And they could easily make that change.
Like, honestly, if they had rolled that out, I would have been like, yeah!
Right.
It's still pretty angular, which isn't really my thing, but...
right. People would have... You still would have got a visceral response, but it wouldn't have been, what is this?
Yeah. I
I got so many texts. Are they serious?
Right.
Is this... And then I also got texts... Oh, that's badass. I want that. Yeah, ordering one. And I wonder if they made the deposit $100 to kind of push those numbers. Because they're going to be able to say, oh, it does, 500,000 orders. It's like, yeah, it was $100. Like, and it's refundable.
I do. Have you seen any numbers on how many they got?
No, they probably won't.
It's still very simple.
Yeah, all from Tim.
I personally know 3, but...
There were people that had issues with the website that ended up ordering 3. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the guy next to me ordered 2 by accident. He's like, oops.
Well, that's how you pump up the numbers.
There you go. Yeah, that was a bug.
But I really can't wait. Today I am going to, mark my words, I'm going to Photoshop this a little bit just to change the rake of the front windshield, only like 5 degrees. And no, not Countach, just like normalize it one more notch from this even.
And he didn't say anything about the aerodynamics of that. I mean, I figured that has something to do with it. That wedge shape has.
Yeah,
normally they're all about the efficiency. Yeah.
Yeah.
This will be horrible.
You think?
Really?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. But I mean, the biggest thing is a flat wedge, a flat face in the back is horrible aerodynamically.
Oh, because of the drag.
Yep. It creates a huge wake, a turbulent wake, and there's no way around.
But what about that cover?
If the cover's down, that would help.
I'm just saying, I feel like that would prevent a lot of disturbance behind in the bed.
It definitely could, and that might actually improve range quite a bit.
But the funny thing about the range, I was thinking about this last night. They're talking about 500 miles of range, which is amazing, of course, and I knew that the range would be great. But then I started thinking, are people going to be going on a lot of long trips in this thing? Can you imagine driving down the interstate and that drives by? You know what I mean?
It's gonna happen.
I live in San Diego where a lot of military vehicles are just on the road.
So you're used to that.
So I'm kind of used to. I mean, in LA, you're probably like, oh, is that like a movie thing? In San Diego, you're like, no, that's a legit Marine Hummer, dudes ready to go do some training exercises with them. So let me wrap some of this up with some specs here that we didn't talk about. Payload capacity. So I believe this is what fits in the bed. 3,500 pounds, which is great. Vault length. The vault is what they're calling the bed.
Yeah.
6.5 feet.
So that's pretty standard, isn't it? Or
that's good.
Big,
It's not a long bed truck, but it's bigger. So Zach, Jerry Rig, everything, we're sitting there because he has a Tacoma. So that's bigger than mine. That's bigger than his. Now he has a shorter bed. Right. But yeah, so that's not terrible.
I also kind of wondered if they would be able to fold the back down so you get extra room.
Oh, yeah. The cab of it?
The cab.
Oh, that'd be interesting. I didn't see that.
I didn't see anything about that either.
4-inch suspension in either direction, up and down. 100 cubic feet of exterior lockable storage, including the vault. That's the back. Frunk. So they list it here. And what they call sail pillars. Those are the sail pillars, the wings.
Yeah.
Up to 6 adults. Charging, of course, superchargers, V3 charging, which means that it most likely has the 2170 cells and can recharge super, super quick. So those are kind of just a wrap on specs.
You briefly mentioned 250 plus, almost insinuating that a faster supercharger would be coming out too even.
Yeah, I wonder how... Yeah,
that's the big thing. If this thing
in
has
2-3 years,
if this thing has a 500-mile range, it means it has to have at least 200 kilowatts of battery.
Well, maybe, because who was telling me, was it you, Joe, about Maxwell batteries? How the theory is that with the dry electrode, you can essentially have the same energy stored in the cell, but the cell can weigh half as much.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, you're still.
So that's almost like having 2 battery packs then, because the weight that you have to push.
I don't care about the weight. It's the. I mean, you're looking at least a 200 kilowatt hour battery pack, capacity, period. I don't care what it weighs or what size it is.
If the Model S 100 kilowatt hour battery pack gets 370 miles now, and you can reduce weight of the pack by 50%, I imagine you'd get close to 500 miles of range, wouldn't you?
No.
No?
Because again, it's mostly aerodynamics.
Oh, it's aerodynamics. That's going to be your killer.
When you're moving.
And this thing is not a aerodynamic.
And those wheels, like the big
true.
knobby tires. So let's pretend it
Fair
is
enough,
a
right.
It's just so big.
That makes sense.
Let's pretend it is a 200 kilowatt battery pack to get 500 miles, right? Let's just say it is. And even if you can charge at 250, you're going to be sitting there for a long time to actually get that range. Because the charge rate's going to be the same.
To get 500, yeah.
To get 500.
You could get... Well, you might, because you have so much more capacity in the battery, you might be able to, it would be better than your Model 3 in terms of charging. It would, because it could charge at a higher rate for longer.
It can't charge it can charge at a higher rate for longer, correct?
Right.
But say you both plug in for 5 minutes to 250 kilowatt hours.
Right.
The 250 kilowatt hour charger will be, or kilowatts, will be significantly more range in 5 minutes than this will be in 5 minutes.
Why?
Because it's way more efficient. It uses that same amount of electricity it does 240 watt hours per mile or whatever.
Oh, okay.
This will be 360, 400.
You're saying that because to go 500 miles takes double the amount of actual energy. Got it.
Around double.
Right.
Or something, yeah.
Right,
so
right.
So road tripping still, unless they get a faster charge rate, and things like that.
Here's something to think about too that no one is even I've heard mentioned, but some of my friends leading up to this they're not truck people, they're desert people. So they take quads and dirt bikes out to the deserts and stuff. Well, there are very few that I've seen, and they're certainly not designed for this, superchargers that you can pull into with a trailer. So what that means is that you will have to actually go unhook your trailer and go charge. That is an added extra pain in the butt, and it's going to take a lot longer than just getting gas. So all in all, not gonna buy it, right? It's just not gonna, more change, more difficulty in certain situations. So now it would look the coolest thing ever when you're out in the desert,
right? But
other than that. There's a lot of nuance to who your profile is or who your buyer is. So,
and I don't know if you guys saw this tweet, but this was this morning. Elon said there would be an option to add solar power that generates 15 miles per day, which would be fun for the off-roading community, the overland community. Would love to be self-powered. Adding fold-out solar wings would generate 30 to 40 miles per day. Huh. But this is the why don't they just add solar panels?
I was going to say, it's because you don't have a big enough vehicle. Oh, now you do.
Now you have a lot of
now you have a monster.
And for the people who want to go off-roading and into
that's
camping
fantastic.
areas and stuff like that.
Because if you're there for 5 days, that'll get me back to a charger.
Oh, easy. I mean, you're never going, I don't care how remote you get, you're never going hundreds of miles a day off-roading. You might, I guess, but
no.
Yeah. I mean, most people go
and you're going
20,
slow.
20, 30 miles off-road,
Yeah. Going back to the whole battery thing, I was just thinking while y'all were talking. So you got the range thing, that you're getting extra range because of this huge battery pack, but I think in theory it's not supposed to be just for getting you everywhere.
That's true.
They have a 220 volt outlet
and
a 110 volt outlet, an air compressor in there. So it's kind of meant to be a workhorse as well for a work site. They didn't really even talk about that really very much. He didn't talk about the fact that apparently, and according to our friend that got me in, you could charge another Tesla off of this Tesla.
For sure. Yeah. It's a 240 or 220 or whatever. Yeah. And I mean, you could charge it off the 110 if you wanted to. Yeah.
So this could be one of those emergency vehicles for people whose batteries run out. You could
see. I actually love this as sort of an emergency vehicle.
Right.
Imagine if you could hook this up to become a fire truck, but a fire truck that can go off road in the woods and get there faster than a crew of people on foot can and carry more stuff or whatever. I think
500 pounds of water.
I mean, or rescue stuff. I mean, the thing is a tank, except for the glass apparently, and so you ought to be able to get it in and out in a very hazardous. And I think he said the pressurized version will go on Mars.
Yeah.
We'll see.
And let's just be honest, when the economy collapses and there's rioting in the streets, this is the car you want.
Yes. And Bitcoin. And we're back to it.
Right.
So overall, I think summary on Cybertruck. I think we all
How do we
wish.
summarize this?
Yeah.
I think specs are unbelievable.
Yeah, definitely.
Period.
Yeah. Price. Holy, how? Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, can I just say real quick? I hope that the 39.9 is not one of these like when you factor in the gas savings over
No,
time.
it said
and
it didn't
everything.
say that. I don't believe.
Yeah, they kind of. I think he tried to make a point of that. He's like, "This is before any
This is
savings."
before
Okay,
incentives.
all right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So that's good.
Because in
Yeah.
the past they've.
Yeah.
Even
definitely.
still, a truck this big and capable is
Yeah.
$80,000.
I really
so.
thought
like,
it would start at the premium price that they have. set.
Yeah, I mean, mind-blowingly cheap.
Well, he said on Twitter it would be under 50.
Yeah, but everyone assumed that meant 49,999.
Right.
For the base model,
Right.
Without wheels.
without any of this fancy stuff. Yeah.
So specs great, price great, and just what on the design. Does that pretty much summarize it?
Yeah.
Swing and a miss.
We're just gonna have to see over time how it.
Is that a
'cause
Meatloaf
it's,
song?
It's already.
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I guess you can choose any. There's 3 things: price, looks, and specs, and you only get to choose 2 of these. And this is that.
Yeah, fair
I mean,
enough.
time will tell. We'll see.
Yeah.
Let's take one more quick break.
Yep.
We'll be right back.
Now, I know we had a nice clean out there with the Cybertruck, but I have to do one thing quick. So last night,
This
This is a CYA moment.
This is Tim's throwing the steel ball at the window moment.
yeah.
This is his version of
last
that.
night, we were walking back to the hotel, and I noticed something that looked exactly like Cybertruck, and I took a picture and posted on Twitter. Look at the top of this trash can. And so I took this picture, put it on Twitter, and people were so mad because I go, look, ... Cybertruck, ... Like, I wasn't meaning it was trash. I was just literally meaning, look at the top of that. It's the same freaking.
Do you have a
shape.
screenshot of the tweet though? Because doesn't the tweet crop off the top of the image, and
That's
you
the
only
problem. Twitter crops it so you basically just
you
see
just saw the trash can?
trash can. Yeah. So if people were like, Tim,
so
go
great.
home. This is terrible. I had, of course, just people immediately
And of all people,
calling the
because
police
my favorite quote is Motor Trend or somebody. It said of the Cybertruck. They said, "Now we know the answer to the question: what would it look like if SpaceX made a truck?" And I'm like, "This is Tim's perfect thing right here." Could you imagine rolling to Boca Chica in this with
that'd be
like
pretty good.
camera gear, like
A
tripods
scissor
sticking?
lift that
Dude,
shoots up off the bed.
yeah, okay, now you're.
You know they're going to take those to the moon.
Yeah, I
Could
know.
that fit on Starship?
Oh yeah, this could definitely fit on Starship.
Is that a good segue? But I mean, could that fit on Starship?
yeah, it could. I mean, this could absolutely fit inside Starship, and on the thing. But
Especially now that it's a ragtop or convertible.
Convertible.
Getting ready for Mark Watney here.
Yeah, it's it's not a bed, it's a vault, guys.
So what was this? Monday? No,
November 20th. How about that?
Wednesday. I feel like this happened. Yeah, this happened on Wednesday. So so SpaceX they have the Mark 1 Starship prototype that this is the one that was at the presentation.
Somewhere in this image is the mark.
And they're working on testing it, right? And what they're working on doing was basically just pressurizing it and filling the tanks to capacity. And again, this is the one that was literally in the background of the presentation, right? And it didn't quite have the nose cone on yet, because at the presentation they had it fully stacked.
That's
then
what happened.
They took the full nose off.
That's why I do that.
Yeah, they took the nose off, which had those upper canards, those upper flaps. It had all the all that stuff. So the Tesla batteries and some of those components were in that upper fairing payload section, and they took the bottom half out to the launch pad basically, and they were filling it up and testing it, and they were even testing it beyond operational pressures, and the top blew off. Whoops.
Yep.
And there's a lot of course, this is people crying about it, literally. To me, this is not a big deal. From my understanding, it was starting to sound more and more like Mark 1 like this was never actually going to fly.
Mm.
And so what they were, so you get to the point of like, okay, they were wanting to probably push the limits. And unfortunately, what they tested and what they broke was something that they'll never need to test or break, because the way they manufactured this thing is not like how they're going to manufacture any other Starship again.
Were there any people hurt or anything?
No.
There was no.
Anytime a vehicle's pressured, even if you have like a small tank getting pressurized, people are remotely operating that fill.
Oh, got it.
Cannot be
Yeah,
anywhere
'cause
with high pressures.
I remember seeing a photo. Was it Scott Manley or somebody. It was like rocket science. It was a guy out there with a hammer hitting Starship.
Oh yeah, no, I saw that.
I was like,
was that Franz with his sledgehammer?
Yes, yeah. They were getting ready for Cybertruck. That's what that actually was happening. That was
Yeah. So
Franz has really got super strength there. I think is what we were learning.
Yeah, nobody's talking about that. I think that's what we need to be worried about. He's one of the new Avengers or something.
Thor. So the thing is, like, the way they welded Mark 1 will never happen again. That was a rough and dirty, like, literally, you know, they did that. Then Mark 2 already had huge improvements on the welds. Mark 3 already is going to have this totally different, you know, each ring is going to be one piece of metal with a single seam weld for a ring, and then the ring stacked again. So we're already going to see
Water tower.
10 times less welds, basically, or a significantly less amount of welds.
I do have a quick. Okay, so. And again, you know, I'm the common man here. When you say fill the tanks, is the actual whole cylinder fuselage being filled with liquid, or are there tanks inside of it?
That's what I thought. I thought there were tanks inside of the stainless steel enclosure.
Yeah.
So the whole entire vessel is the
whole
tank. Thing is a giant tank.
Okay.
And inside, especially in these prototypes, there are other tanks.
Oh, okay.
So what happens is you can fill it. You don't have to fill it to the brim with your fuel, but you have to make sure that that you're pressurizing it to be equalized. So you know, say you just had liquid oxygen in there, you poured some in. In order to get it up to operating pressure, they actually fill the rest in currently with helium, because helium's it's inert,
right?
And it expands like crazy. You know, we all know this from balloons. And so, because it's so low density, you can pack a ton of it into a small tank.
Right.
And then as you drain your fuel, you're literally backfilling it with more helium. And the thing is, you can actually overpressure a tank.
So, the weird thought about how the physics of this works, and it comes from, you know, a space guy, a Neil deGrasse Tyson video I watched where he was explaining water tower design. And I think it's kind of, you know, apt here. If you look at water towers, at least, you know, the actual water tower, not like a facade they put around it, as the rings holding it together go from top to bottom, they get closer together.
Right.
Because the weight of the water is heavier on the bottom because it's holding up all the weight.
Right.
So is that a similar effect here, or is like LOX or methyl LOX or whatever the fuel is just like so lightweight it doesn't matter?
Well, it's actually,
or it's just so strong.
No, it's because it's under pressure.
Oh.
The amount of pressure throughout the entire tank is the exact same.
Got it. Okay.
You know, it's literally.
What about the gravity pushing the fuel down to the bottom?
While on the pad, it doesn't matter. The force
It's not
the force
a
of
big
pressure
enough
is
deal.
greater.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be, in this case, 3 bar, so 45 psi. That's 45 pounds per square inch. You know, you think about a postage stamp. 45 pounds on every one of those.
Yeah.
That's normal operating pressure on the entire fuselage. You know, think about how much force that actually is. If you have this
it's
thing's
a lot.
9 meters, 30 feet wide.
Yeah.
Every single bit of surface of that has that amount of force exerting on it.
Yeah.
That would make your ears pop.
Oh my God, that would
Make your head explode.
Yeah, I mean the amount of
That too.
yeah, that'll pop your top right off. And that's as you can see.
So let's see it.
I don't know if I want to play the video because it's, Lab Padre, you know, they have the live stream. They do a fantastic. They basically have cameras trained on this 24/7. And so if you want to look that up, definitely go watch Lab Padre's YouTube video of the event. Basically, the top gets popped off, and this is the oxygen tank. So you see all this, you know, now it's turning into a cloud of gaseous oxygen. Still, you know, interacting with the water vapor and turning into a giant water cloud is what this is. So there's no smoke. This would be very cold if you were if you were there. You'd freeze to death basically instantly, like instantly, just you know. But yeah, it's not good. This wasn't a good thing to have happen, but at the same time, I don't really think it's going to set them back almost at all. Because
I mean, this is so early days, isn't it? I mean,
and it's
imagine if they did the truck things like when they're designing a new car out in the open like this, because what we heard was they shot this thing with guns. They showed footage of that. They did so much to this. It would be a totally different process. You know, I wonder, I guess because consumers aren't buying rockets, you kind of don't,
well, and
you know,
like normally this testing would be behind closed doors, like you said, like this is literally in public. You know,
Right.
they can't help but
That's what
hide
blows
it.
me away the most about this entire thing.
How do you
We're just
test
getting
it
to see something
indoors?
amazing
Just a
here.
giant
No,
building?
not indoors, but
Oh.
in military bases and
Oh.
you know, where places where the general public isn't going to have access to it.
Right.
You know.
Area 51.
Get me my Cybertruck. I'm gonna make access to it. Yeah.
But the thing is, like, in the grand scheme of Starship development, this is barely even a hiccup, because I really don't think they're intending to actually fly Mark 1. I think they were basically using it as a fit and finish.
Well, do we
test
know
bed.
what's next? Are they going to try to repair this, or
They're going?
I don't think they are.
Nope, they're going straight to Mark 3.
Oh, right. Elon responded to you about that, right?
Yep. So
Right.
basically,
Obviously, but
not obviously. Basically this. So he said, I asked him, Starship Mark 1 appears to have blown its top off during a pressure test today. My guess, this will be a good time for SpaceX to move on to their next, more refined and higher quality versions, Mark 2 and Mark 3, right? Instead of repairing Mark 1. Any chance they'll just move on to Mark 3 is what I asked Elon. He goes, absolutely. But to move to Mark 3 design. So this had some value as manufacturing pathfinder, but flight design is quite different. So there's still... And I've said this from over, how many times have I said this is just a test bed? This entire program still is this fluid design that is constantly changing as they figure it out.
Yeah. I always saw this as the Star Hopper with a thing on top, basically.
Yeah, which is pretty much
With
exactly.
3 engines.
With 3 engines, and was originally planning to be flight capable. They probably all got it together and they go, we need to start over. It's the opposite. This is the not a sunk cost fallacy that is
Right.
Elon Musk and the SpaceX team.
well, you start making something, and then you realize at some point, oh, okay, but we learned something.
Yeah.
And we're gonna take what we learned there and do it better
Instead of
next
being like,
time.
crap, we have this done. We need to fix it up.
Will they
Make
do
it
a
perfect.
cost plus contract? Yes, again, please.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, if this was some other aerospace company, they might take that and be like,
Not naming names.
everyone, let's bang out every little dent.
Yeah.
Make this perfect. This is our one shot to do this. You
Yeah.
know, instead
Yeah.
of being like, scrap it.
Yeah, let's
And
go.
that's the Elon Musk way. Is like, we got what we need out of this, and we now kind of have an idea of fitment. We designed and engineered this stuff. Let's go on. Like I said, this wasn't great, especially like PR wise. This is very bad. Like people see the vehicle,
Especially
pop
the
its top
day
off.
before the Cybertruck.
Yeah, it's been a bad.
So someone needs to have. I want these images next to each other. I want the guy slinging the sledgehammer, and like a zoom in, Photoshop zoom in, and it's Franz, right? And then next day, like spaceship exploding, and then next day, Franz hitting the thing, and then throwing. It's like, what is going? We need to start this conspiracy theory that he's actually an alien.
By the way,
I think he'd appreciate.
I did want to see this. That Elon did say, were the windows last night planned to be hit with a ball, or was there a spur of the moment? And he said, we threw the same steel ball at the same window several times right before the event,
Yeah.
and didn't even scratch the glass.
Right, and that's what we were told as well. That's what we
That
heard.
has been confirmed by our
Of course, the
multiple
media
people,
won't
yeah.
believe that, and that'll be a whole thing of like
Fake news,
fake
yeah.
news, and he's a fraud and stuff. But
I'm sure
I
they
just
have
think I
footage of
jinxed
that.
what was that?
So I just think I jinxed it. I've never been to one of those before. So of course.
Well, were you down here in Texas? You were in Texas during.
What?
You were in the state of Texas.
Oh, good
while the top blew off.
We're
Do you know how
probably
far away from that I am?
Yeah,
we're
about the same
probably
distance.
closer to your house now than Boca Chica is.
Not quite, but
We're getting there.
2 + 4.
Yeah, right.
No, I think all you really have to do is get Franz with the sledgehammer,
And then things blowing
swing,
up.
and then just cut straight to that thing. Like, how is this not a thing yet? I mean,
Somebody make this.
Yeah.
We figured it out, people.
Yeah.
We're
it's the simplest thing in the world. I'll do it when I get home.
solving problems.
But so, for those people people are so attached to these things and don't get it. I've said this too a lot. Don't get attached to these things.
Yeah.
These are made. How many times have I said these are being made as cheap and quickly as possible? Period. So that it's not a big deal if
Right.
something happens.
Because you know there's going to be failures.
And because it's such a fluid design, they're not investing a lot into each and every little thing yet. It's like, let's kind of throw it together, see what's happening, get used to filling cryogenic stuff at this scale with stainless steel. The valve, these are new. We're talking about a whole new size for them to have depressure valves and stuff. There's a lot of new systems that are on this that are being tested. That it's okay to test to depletion or to failure because it doesn't really matter. You're looking at a couple $1 million, piece of stainless steel at this point.
30 times ultra hard cold rolled.
301. No, I mean, this isn't a big deal. Like they're already working on Mark III. Like they've been rolling that steel already.
Yeah.
Mark III will be built up.
And stainless steel has so many amazing qualities of it, right? I remember you and Elon talking about that in your interview and all this stuff. It was just very obvious the benefits of it.
They can literally recycle this even.
Yeah, right. Well,
I was thinking that too.
This could be. I will buy the Cybertruck edition that lets me actually have pieces of Mark One.
So you're not saying there was a bunch of dry ice in there, and that's what we're seeing.
That's some leftover from Halloween.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Do you know how far along or where things are with the Mark II and III?
So Mark II, it was actually in a pretty similar place as far as like it probably could have been rolled out to the pad, which would be that's going to be a big deal when it does, because it has to move all the way from Cocoa Village to Kennedy Space Center, which is actually quite a ways, probably 20 kilometers or something. It was far enough along where they probably could have wrapped it up and had it to the same point within a month. But it sounds like they're really just going all in on Mark III. They've learned the lessons from Mark I, they learned the lessons from Mark II, combine them together and focus on Mark III. So I think kind of that internal race thing, especially because they pulled the crew from Mark II to get this thing ready for the presentation already. So that whole internal competition thing kind of
fell apart, right?
Anyway.
So it's back on.
or it's back onto them.
Now everyone's just,
that's my guess, is that they're probably going to
seems probably pretty fluid. I mean, that's just probably how Elon's companies are. Like Tesla, remember, where are all my power walls? What's going on? Oh, we got to make Model 3. Literally everybody in the company is doing nothing but whatever they can to make Model 3.
Now, where are all my Model S battery packs? They're on top of Starship. Sorry. We had to use them all. Like pulling them from Tesla.
I mentioned that in my video. We didn't talk about it here, but I think that's something that is really cool to see. That clearly the Cybertruck was the quote from Tesla on their press kit about the body of Cybertruck. It says, ultra hard, 30 times cold rolled stainless steel. If there was something better, we'd use it. Sound familiar? So this is literally so I think that's exactly, like, it's really cool to see the technology being shared. Clearly the Cybertruck was made from, if not the exact material, something very similar, whatever. And then, using the Tesla batteries to, is it going to do the wings, the flaps or whatever they're called?
Yeah. That's what's going to power the pumps that actuate the flaps.
Super cool to see that technology transfer. And it's like, what other automaker has literally the most advanced aerospace company giving them technology to use?
That's something, I don't remember if we talked about this in the show yet, but I realized, so one of the things that I value a lot on my personal channel is the knowledge that I've gained as an educator, in this, is that a lot of my videos have cross-pollination of things that I learned in other videos and research that I did for other things. Then I realized, how valuable is it that the person that's learning all these lessons at Tesla and manufacturing cars and on autonomous driving and all these things that Elon's working on there also is applying those same lessons that he's learning at SpaceX with this, and literally tying those together? The cross-pollination there. No other car company has a rocket engineer designing their cars and vice versa. That is what is so unbelievably valuable that people just do not understand. The CEO of Ford, I'm sorry, I don't think they designed a very good rocket.
Jim Hackett.
A self-landing rocket.
Sorry, Jim. Sorry.
Yeah. The self-landing car, though.
Ooh.
Maybe.
The Mach-E? The Mach-E. I can't say it too fast.
Sometimes I make jokes and even I don't understand them.
All the time.
Oh, my gosh.
But just to wrap up, not really a huge deal. I kind of saw something like this coming.
When are we going to see Mach 3 prototypes or pictures? Or
I'm guessing we'll start seeing.
Yeah, get on that, Tim.
I'm guessing
go get your Cybertruck.
We'll see Mark 3 being literally probably it started to come to life out of Boca Chica this month, or in November or December already. We'll start seeing those new beautiful. It'll look so much better, less wrinkled. Way more refined.
Yeah,
we'll start seeing that really soon, and and I'm actually guessing it'll probably, realistically, I'll bet the 20-kilometer flight. Let's see, we're November. I would be surprised if we actually see it by April.
Really?
Out of Boca Chica or
out of Boca Chica?
Oh, okay.
The first real flight of any kind of Starship that's not Starhopper will be at least April in my book.
Now, you said something a second ago about them having to move it from Cocoa Beach over to.
That'd be Mark II, and Mark IV would probably be there. Mark III will be built back at Boca Chica again.
So you don't think Mark II is going to go up? It's just more testing.
I think
pressure testing.
They're just what Elon said, right?
I don't even know if they'll have it leave that site now.
What he said.
That is
Right.
kind of what he said.
I mean, yeah, he basically said like, not that. But, yeah, basically just said, that they're moving on to Mark III already.
Yeah.
So I think they're basically going to leave Mark I and II as lessons learned on manufacturing and how to do all this.
Sure.
And maybe
Recycle the steel,
Yeah. And maybe, maybe they will build Mark IV again. Actually, there are already rings for Mark IV
Being made.
out in Cocoa. So I'm guessing Mark II will never be transported. Just not worth it.
Yeah.
And not even pressure tested and stuff. Because again, why pressure test something if you've already changed the manufacturing process? Because you're most likely
maybe it might be useful for like some kind of testing of like, oh, let's try that one thing, that I don't know, valve or tank or whatever,
but
turbo pump.
All that stuff's going to be when it's more fully integrated, and So again, as far as publicly for Elon, I bet he's having a hard time right now. Like, honestly.
Yeah, it's funny because he was on a tear. Tesla was just crushing it for a few weeks there with all this great news. And then all of a sudden well, I guess it's not just Tesla, but
it's like things are going too well.
Yeah, I know exactly right. It's like, the up and down.
Pressurize it more.
We need to turn it to 11.
Well, and I said it really quickly at the beginning, but it is being said that, and actually by calculations, that this was overpressurized. Now, whether or not it was clearly intentional, if they really were just like, keep going, let's push this thing, or not, but it was overpressurized. So it's not like it failed under normal operating conditions, is pretty much the consensus. But not that it matters because, again, it's just the very basic version. So
what else? What do you guys have going on next?
Well,
speaking of moving on,
we had our why don't they just? There was one fun one that was about Cybertruck. Besides this really cool one from Pete at Pete.
That's it. Why don't they just do that design tweak?
Cut that off.
Yeah.
Actually,
why don't they?
That needs to be. Why don't they just please?
Yeah. Please. Why don't they just?
But I like this one too. This is from Astra V on Twitter. Evalio. I'm so bad at pronouncing.
Even
So Tim, why don't they just create an inflatable? And why just me? Come on, guy. There's three of us here. Tim, Joe, Ben. There we go. Why don't they just create an inflatable bed? Or inflatable tent. The trunk has a compressor, so you just press the button and it inflates a mattress and a big tent. You could have LED lights embedded in the tent too. It should be cheaper than the rigid camping add-on shown at the.
I could just buy. I have an inflatable mattress already that would fit back there, and I just bring it with me. I don't need. No one needs to create it. It already exists. I have one in my garage.
But I guess this is saying you like plug the tent into the compressor and it just blows it up, and you don't have to.
It'd be like form fitting.
But all you need is the tube from the air compressor to the thing. It's like a.
Well, do you have an inflatable tent? Because that's part of it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did he say tent? Oh, I thought he was saying
bed.
The
mattress
and
the big tent.
I do the bed and then I close the vault. I'm good.
Yeah.
Although that'd be creepy.
It's like kind of a coffin. Yeah.
Well, they call it a coffin.
Secure.
I would actually love to sleep in the back like that. That'd be
like
awesome.
Deprivation
because it even
chamber.
has the lights and everything already.
But is it
does.
vented?
Let's find out.
We could ask. Let's make sure that thing's climate controlled. How cool would that be?
Yeah, that would need be.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, that'd be great.
Anything about that?
No. Okay, so for this, I would still love that if I could have a button to push and.
Well, someone will make that. Someone will make that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's an easy. Driving and
wacky waving and little flailing arm man.
That's what I want in the back of this truck is a wacky waving arm man as you're driving down the road. Okay, sorry. I just thought of something that I meant to ask earlier. I know we're kind of running out of time, but you took the drive.
Yep.
They had a different OS on the screen, right?
Yep.
Okay. I saw that in some.
It had a Cybertruck font. It was the only difference I really noticed, but there was some.
It looked way different.
I thought it looked different.
Like the map.
Okay.
I guess my question was: Is this something that we can expect in the other cars coming out soon? Is this like a test thing?
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm
sure. Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be a. So every. It's a trend, but about every October we get a new full version of. The Tesla OS, essentially. I don't know if they have a name for it, but version 9 came out in October 2018. Version 10 just came out a little while ago. So probably next fall sometime, I would imagine we'd have version 11, and that will be some of this. I don't know. Yeah, I didn't I think I was probably too wrapped up in like the experience and
No,
then filming and
exactly.
stuff. But I did get
everybody
really
was.
clear shots of the whole thing as we were going.
Yeah.
One thing I liked was that it was the Model 3 landscape mode screen, which I'm not a huge fan of, but it was 17 inches.
Oh,
Yeah.
Which, thank God, because I'm like, how dumb would it be with this giant truck to have, like in the Model 3 it makes sense because it's a smaller vehicle.
Right, yeah.
This thing, you could put a 30-inch TV in there. It would be like still not giant.
But you know what's funny is in the images,
It doesn't look
it
big.
doesn't look that big.
No,
No, it doesn't.
no. In fact, I think in the video I put out about it, I think I was complaining about that. Oh, they did the same thing as a Model 3 screen. And then we were editing. We're like, did they? And we're like, oh crap, no, they didn't. So I had to cut that part out.
Well, but you're right. I think everybody's so wrapped up in the crazy design shock
Yeah.
of it all.
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
like, that has been not talked about very much, and I was just
Right.
curious about it.
Yeah, I'll need to go back and look and see what was different. I know I and Ben got some good shots. Ben is in a different Ben.
The other bin and
That helps edit and film and all that stuff that makes it possible.
Who's sitting right there?
Yeah, who's sitting across from us. So anyways, yeah. So I know we got a bunch of good shots in there. I mean, I probably have 3 videos to make out of this event.
Yeah.
You know, that might be one of them, like the future of Tesla software, like what's coming in version 11. Which it's funny, like it seemed like maybe how Apple did this for a while, where it would be like, wait, are they gonna unveil a new phone here? Oh my God, is this a new phone? Like you didn't know if there was gonna be a new iPhone or
Right.
not. Now it's just standard. You just know exactly what, like you can almost pick out what date it is.
Right.
You like a
Within a
year in
week,
advance.
yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, I feel like Tesla's probably falling into a similar rhythm where, yeah, we'll have another major version probably next fall. And throughout the year, Elon's, you know, people are going to be tweeting, hey, can I have this? Can I have this? Can I have Joe mode? Can I have Tim mode? Can I have Ben mode? Whatever. Like, you know, and he's going to say yes. And then we'll get a dozen. But by the way, let me just say one very quick rant on this. The user experience of changing how the car drives and operates without notifying you is a terrible idea. And it's happened to me and my wife now with the latest update. For me, it was less of an issue because all of a sudden I get in my car and it's auto navigating to places. And I'm just like, what the heck is going on? I thought it was just like a bug or like, you know, because you can share from your phone to it. I thought maybe I did that on accident. And no, it's now built in. It's now part of the thing. And that's fine. But it was auto enabled.
Right.
And so I'm thinking like something's wrong. Like I didn't change anything. What's going on here? My wife's in the Model 3, and you guys have this too now, I'm sure, is the hold mode of the driving
I've been
modes.
playing with that this week.
Yeah, and so I got a chance to test it out and I actually love it. I actually really like it. The single pedal driving, super cool. My wife is in creep mode though, and she isn't used to that. She's not used to having to hit the pedal for it to go at all.
Right.
And so she's sitting there freaking out, going, "What is going on with this screaming 1-month-old and a 4-year-old in the back while I'm traveling, eating Cheetos for dinner, living my best life?" But point being, like she's
Cheeto mode.
yeah, so she's totally like calling me, freaking out. What's wrong with the car? It's just a really bad user experience choice to change how it drives. Imagine if all of a sudden your phone you're used to using fingerprint and now it's Face ID only, and you couldn't figure out why.
Right.
And you're like, what is wrong?
Yeah. Very good.
Yeah.
And it just.
Back
I
up.
just stopped it and started.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, here.
And we should wrap up because I gotta
Yeah,
get to my next show.
Yeah.
Well, so obviously you're gonna have 55 Cybertruck videos to make now.
Once I get it, I didn't order one, but I'll get one for a week and I'll play with it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
Rent one on Turo.
for sure.
Well, is that? But
$600 a day.
is that what videos are gonna be? Because you cranked out a video last night. Which
I've
was
got
impressive.
3 videos in the past 7 days, and they're all doing well because it was just the season, right? It was the Porsche Taycan day with that amazing,
Yeah.
so fun.
And then the Ford.
And then the Ford Mach-E, which if you say it slowly, it makes sense. Mach-E.
Macchiato.
But you heard him on stage saying Mach-E? Like hockey maki, like it sounds terrible. Anyways, yeah, that video, like that, I just really enjoyed doing that. I really like that now we're in an era where legit good EVs that are worth talking about are coming out. Yes. And so obviously because before all the other ones were just crap, you know, I'm sorry, the Audi e-tron, the I-Pace, they're crap. If you don't get 250, 300 miles of range, I'm not interested. Just not even close, remotely interested.
When you
now
have
that
Tesla
they are
fans seeing them make a car and go, oh,
Yeah, exactly. Right. And
that's
that's the problem. You have to do that. If you believe the future of cars is electric, you have to come out swinging. Otherwise, all you're going to do is sell more Teslas. Because Audi people are going to be like, oh, here's an electric car. And they'll be like, oh, God, this is expensive and it sucks.
Right.
Why? Okay, well, but now that my mind is open to electric cars, let's see what's up. Oh, hey, you shiny, beautiful tech electric beast. Let's go get, like, you know, that's why I don't think the truck is going to do well, because you're like, yeah, truck people aren't going to be like, oh, yeah, let's go do that.
Right.
They're going to be like, no, that's weird.
Yeah.
So I've got, I don't know what's next, honestly. I have no clue what's on the backlog. Probably a few more videos on Cybertruck.
Take a break.
Yeah, maybe. We've got 1 month or 6 week old, so, you know, sleep would be nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
Joe, what are you doing next? You've had a solid state video.
I've had a very good week, yeah.
You're just throwing it in. That's it for the new year.
Yeah, exactly.
See you guys.
Leaving a high note. I'm George Costanzo, just walking out.
What's that video up to now?
1.6 million was the last time I saw it. So.
In less than a week?
In less than a week, yeah.
Man.
I've had a few videos that... Well, the separate head video, obviously, that kind of did its thing. But the funny thing about that one was that didn't take off for months. Like it just kind of sat there for a while, and then for whatever reason, the magic happened. But this one was like right off the bat, and I was like, "Whoa, this is new!" Like it may got to 100,000 views in like a couple of hours. I was just like, "What is going on?"
That's awesome.
I don't know. It just happened, but it's cool.
So what's your next one though? What's your going to be number 2?
Shoot,
solid state battery part 2.
I'm not following that up.
Solider state.
Solider state or battery or
right. Well, I will definitely have to do some more videos about batteries at some point. But no, the next one for Monday is the delayed choice quantum eraser experiment. I'm going back to quantum weirdness video thing.
I just heard crickets. Do you guys hear?
Yeah. I was like, oh.
the absorbed state quantum molecular bath.
Okay. Do you know I'll give the very brief summary. The double slit experiment,
where they observe
when they try to observe it and it changes its behavior.
This is
because of the
quantum,
quantum
entanglement. Qubits.
The original double slit doesn't really deal with entanglement that much, but this one does.
Okay.
So basically, what they do, in the shortest terms, is it goes through a slit. And the thing is, like, if you detect which slit it goes through, then it behaves as a particle, so you get a different get a different pattern on the wall back there. If you don't observe it, you get an interference pattern because it's behaving like a wave. Oh. So observing it,
Schrodinger's
measuring it, collapses the wave function.
Right. Yeah.
It's already weird. So what they did was they put a crystal behind it that splits the photon into 2 entangled photons. So if you measure this one, you get you lose the interference pattern over here because this one collapses down to a particle.
But they're entangled, so it's the same.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's weird enough.
Yeah.
But here's the crazier part. It always gets
This is Cybertruck crazy.
So what they did was they took this detector over here and they moved it way over here. So it's actually detecting the particle after the entangled particle hits the wall, and it still does the same thing. In other words, it is affecting something that happened in the past. You're going to have to watch the video.
Franz blew up Starship. That's what you're saying. He went back in time.
Right. Yeah, the Starship and the Cybertruck were entangled. And
yes.
Yeah.
Well,
it'll melt your brain a little.
I'm excited. That's crazy.
Did you do the one on using water as a battery? Was that you? Someone I saw a video
like the energy storage. Basically?
Yeah,
I'm working on one for that.
Yeah, because it's really fascinating, this whole concept of, like, basically we don't have, and really it doesn't seem we're able to build big enough batteries to power New York City for a week. You know, if Hurricane Sandy comes and wipes out everything, it's just not physically possible. It'll take 100 years or something. It's just impossible to build enough battery backup for everything. But I could pump an entire mountain's worth of water, over time, powered by solar, up into a high reservoir state. And then, boom, problem. And I hit a button and let that water come down and spin a turbine. And I have, it's like a giant battery, without
There's a video on that.
Kinetic.
Okay, good.
Kinetic batteries. Basically.
Gravity battery. I think.
Gravity, right? Yeah,
I
super
love
cool.
that tower that we talked about that one time. That's one of my favorite ones.
This is like I love it, and it's so simple and beautiful. Like that's what I love about it. It's not some like weird, crazy chemical reaction thing you're creating. It's like the dumbest, easiest thing. Like we're just pumping water up there.
Legos and water and rocks, basically, or whatever.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah,
exactly.
I have some good news for fans of my videos. You know how I get in these rabbit holes that take me 3 months to figure out? I was in one, and it was no end in sight. It was the pollution video. You guys have probably heard me talking a little bit about like the overall impact of rockets.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So, well, a lot of people ask about that.
Yeah, so like the environmental impact. And so I'm including air pollution, ocean pollution, and even space debris in this. Like I want to talk about like pollution.
That is a rabbit hole.
It's a rabbit hole. And but the cool thing is I had this week major things come up. Like Lisa Stojanowski, who helps with Tomorrow, was helping me just yesterday. She's found this article that was like, has all of the actual emissions, the data.
I was like,
literally every rocket. Period. And we were calculating, like my Discord, we were calculating like the actual things. We were getting close too, by the way. But like just to have it all in one sheet was just like, like there's 95% of my research right there.
Does that happen to you a lot? Like I find myself looking for numbers on things and it's like, God, and I'm banging my head, I'm doing myself. And then I'm like, oh, here's this web page. It just has it all right there.
Problem is I was looking for that.
Could have used that
weeks.
yesterday.
And I've had multiple people looking for this for weeks too. These actual numbers.
Yeah.
Looking through environmental assessment and environmental impacts from NASA and, you know, the Cape Canaveral and all these different places looking for these numbers. And then boom, we found this long sheet, and it's just like, this is exactly what. So that's really good news. Now I can actually start the scripting because I actually know the data on it. You know,
awesome.
So we're going to compare it to the other industries. You know, airlines. Like, at what point? How much worse is like one rocket launch compared to a 747 flying, you know, across the Atlantic? All of that stuff. Put it into context. It's going to be really cool. It's going to be a data-driven.
Yeah. Let me know if you need charts and graphs. I can help.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited. It'll be a good one, and I don't know if it'll perform well, but I'm just excited because I do get asked that quite a bit. Like,
I think the videos you're more excited about perform better.
Yeah,
that's right. Because like I remember the aerospike thing. You were so geeked on it for so long, and I remember I sat down to watch it in like 10 minutes, and I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I don't know what's going on anymore, but Tim is pumped. And that video did so well. And I think like,
it's contagious.
Yeah, right. I think like your passion for these things is what sells it to people, essentially. What keeps people engaged. Yeah. Cause me as a, I'm like, I don't even know what's going on here. like 5 minutes in, I'm like, okay, I'll see you guys later. Like, you know what I mean? Like it went too deep for me, but
Tim's so happy.
Right. No, but I see why people are attracted to it regardless of the actual details. Right. So fantastic.
Yeah, I'm excited. It'll be a good one. So cool. Yeah, maybe we'll have to do, you know, maybe before that, you know, maybe we'll do a little video of I'll do a little Photoshop job on.
I want to see it
and just tweak it a little bit, you know, to what I would find to be personally more attractive. Yeah. So
I think that does it.
That does it. Huh?
Good to see you guys.
Yeah, we'll see you guys.
I got an airplane to catch.
We'll see you guys in
our ludicrous future.
Hey, thanks so much for listening. If you like what we do and you want to kind of help get it out there, you can give us a nice review on any of your podcast streaming platforms, whichever one you use. That kind of helps get it out there. Also, we do have a Patreon set up, so you can join us there at patreon.com/ourludicrousfuture. You can get your name in the credits, meet a whole other group of like-minded people. It's a lot of fun. We do appreciate it. We'll see you there. Thanks.